You are already ahead of 90% of people if you can simply convey confidence. It has been statistically proven that those who are more confident earn more money in their careers, gain access to more opportunities in their personal and professional life, and have an easier time attracting friends and romantic partners. While other people are pursuing the knowledge and skills that everyone told them to do, you can stand out by doing a fraction of the effort by simply learning how to become more confident and how to be perceived better by others. Learning how to become more confident is a secret trick that allows you to come off as the smartest and most charismatic person in the room. And the funniest part is, you don't actually need to force yourself to believe these things just yet. You just need to learn these simple tricks to come off as more confident. So you'd be pretty dumb to click off of this video right now, as it might just save the rest of your whole entire life. Coming off confidently comes down to a few simple tricks, so let me show you how. When I was in middle school, my mindset was a lot different than how it is now. I always loved talking to people. I had been in multiple different school districts around the country and enjoyed talking to my friends that were there. But I found that every time I had to talk to someone new or that I didn't know well, I would sort of freeze up, and I didn't know why. I'd thought about it for many months and realized, well, it's not that I'm bad at talking to people. I loved talking to people, had interesting things to say, and it was pretty funny. It didn't have to do with literally the things I said or how I was coming off. It had to do with an underlying force that was telling me that my words were not valuable enough to other people for me to say them to them. So over that summer that transitioned into high school, I ran an experiment. What I did was, every time that I felt this urge that what I was saying wasn't important, I would think as to why I'm feeling that way. I would literally go to the point where I was replaying whole conversations I had. And I found that when I did that, when I really analyzed the thing that I said to other people and I thought it was unimportant, I realized, now wait a minute, there was nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, what I was saying was plenty interesting, and the people, we kept the conversation going. So I thought, oh, that's weird. It doesn't have to do with the things I say. It's how I say it and the confidence in that my things that I want to say to people should have value. And this realization that I was undervaluing the things I had to say ultimately changed everything from there once I figured out that's why it was happening. When I went to high school, I made tons of friends. The older kids, kids from other schools, I had a great time, and it only snowballed upwards from there. All because I figured out that I was undervaluing what I was saying, even though I was a great speaker and had interesting things to talk about. So I found my confidence and things got better, which leads me to why I have this picture up on the whiteboard. This fire, this flame, it represents your confidence. This is your certainty that the things you have to say are valuable and that you are intelligent and you are a great human being and competent at what you do. This represents your confidence. And this rain, these raindrops covering this flame, are your environment. They're literally your environment. And these are the things that are suppressing that flame. These are the internal and external factors of your current situation that are smothering how confident you could truly come off as. Over here on the opposite side, we have leaves and we have lighter fluid. These enhance your confidence. These are the things that make this flame grow into a massive blaze of confidence, where every single situation, every conversation you have with people, you thrive, you feel great, you have fun, and you say what you need to say competently. The reason why this diagram is important is because it relates to my story. This rain was smothering my confidence and making me a lesser version of what I was capable of. And once I realized that and started challenging the idea of what I had to say wasn't valuable, this rain started to go away. All of the external and internal factors that were making me a lesser version of who I wanted to be, I was able to mitigate. And because of that, the flame of confidence was able to thrive unhindered. So the very first thing that you need to do to become the best version of yourself is to realize what's smothering you from becoming the best version of yourself, the most confident version of yourself. What's stopping you? What's holding you back in your environment right now that's making you a shrivel of what you could potentially be? This could be bad friends holding you down. This could be people where when you share good news with and your accomplishments that you're proud of, they say, oh, it's about time, or gee, you're really working on that. The people who deprive you of the joy that you feel from doing the things that you know you need to be doing. Those are the people that are going to create those raindrops and ultimately make you a less confident person than you could be. Now, outside of external factors like people, parents, friends, etc., there are also internal factors, which are the ones that I specifically faced. All of these feelings that you somehow, for one reason or another, shouldn't feel good about doing this thing that you're doing. Once you're able to diagnose all of those things, even just understand that they're there, that is the first step to becoming a more confident, better, more capable version of yourself. Once we learn about these factors, you can turn that flame, that little kindling of a fire, into a roaring blaze. Your confidence is soaring. You're the best version of yourself. You're coming off as competent, as capable, and a person people want to listen to. Once you stop that rainfall that was holding you down and suppressing the person that you are capable of being, the flame will ignite and you will become more confident as a person. And don't worry, you don't all of a sudden need to be super charismatic like the person, the man of the room, anything like that. You literally just need to start by identifying the stressors that are holding you back and figuring out ways to fix them. That right there, challenging those ideas, it's what's allowing these things to literally start fueling the fire and making you more confident. As long as you have these stressors that are holding you back, anything you do is probably not gonna work because you need to change your environment to be the best version of yourself. So to quickly recap, my thoughts in middle school that the words I had to say weren't valuable made me not as confident as I could be. And once I started analyzing what was holding me back and removing that rainfall that was smothering my confidence, it was able to come back roaring and I was able to become more like the person that I want to be. So figure out the things that are holding you back in your environment and then start incorporating activities and actions that make you more confident. So what are these activities that make you more confident? The first insight to making you a more confident version of yourself is realizing things are much bigger in your head. I remember when I was in middle school, I'd sometimes have a conversation where I said a weird response. I said something that didn't quite make sense or a joke that didn't quite land the way I wanted it to. And I remember just in my head, oh my God, oh my goodness, like everyone is going to remember this blunder I had. And I realized that I just needed to chill. I needed to step back, that realistically, people forgot about that, first of all, 30 seconds afterwards. But by the next day, the next week, if I said that exact same situation to them, they probably wouldn't even remember it. The brain makes us think that things are so much more significant, that every blunder we make is secretly being written down in this list of like, oh, this person did this thing wrong and he made this weird joke and this comment didn't make sense. You have to realize people aren't doing that. Every piece of anxiety that I felt about what I was saying, I felt confident that every other person in the room felt those same thoughts. And from that realization, I was able to leverage that to become a better version of myself and become more confident in the things I had to say. So make sure that you understand that things are much bigger in your head and that people aren't secretly judging you for every mistake you make. The second tip for becoming a more confident version of yourself is learning how to speak. Knowing how to speak grants you access to so many opportunities when you can leverage your words to come across as intelligent and competent. I remember in the early days with my startup, I was able to speak well enough that people invited me to events. I was able to talk about my business, talk about what teens and 20s should be prioritizing, and all these other topics that I was really deeply passionate about solely because I was able to have a good conversation and make a great first impression. The way to speak better is to first and foremost, I highly recommend recording yourself talk. Talk about your day, make it a digital diary, make it fun. Just anything where you're speaking for ideally 3 minutes or above, and just analyze that recording. You may find that you don't make eye contact. You're looking over there or something, or you may find you do a lot of ums and ahs, or repeat words. But whatever you find, you know the next step you need to become a better speaker. And that only happens when you, in some extent or another, review the speeches you've already given. Learning how to speak is going to make you a lot more confident. The next tip I have is to challenge yourself. Do things that are outside of your comfort zone. This could be approaching that pretty girl that you've been thinking about, or going to the gym even when you don't feel like it, or taking that next step in your career. Because challenging yourself builds confidence because you have overcome difficulties and seen the other side of it. A lot of times when people aren't confident, they feel incapable. They feel like they can't do hard things. If you can prove to yourself that that is not true, that you are capable of doing difficult things that a lot of people can't manage, whatever that means to you, you are going to become more confident seeing those things through. Challenging yourself every day is a great way to be more confident. Lastly, the most important tip that I want to share with you for becoming more confident is to express gratitude. Now, you may be thinking, well, why do I need to express gratitude? How is that possibly going to make me more confident? Well, the thing is, being more confident is a journey. This isn't something where you automatically wake up in the morning and you feel like you're the man or you're the woman. It's something that takes time. You have to put energy into it to really cultivate this over a series of time. So here's how expressing gratitude fits into this. The more you challenge yourself, the more you grow as a person and the more experiences you get under your belt, you'll realize that the problems you once had all of a sudden vanish. You'll realize that you learned the skill set that you needed to do to solve the difficult problems you encountered. If you felt like you were overweight and needed to get into the gym, for the first couple months, it's not going to be the most pleasant thing. But when you get that fit bod, those abs, or that ideal weight that you were looking for, and you can say thank you for that, that is going to snap you into this real level of realization that the things that you once wanted so bad are finally here. Expressing those things are going to make you realize how far you've come as a person. All the challenges you encountered along the way are all of a sudden worth it. I highly recommend expressing gratitude if you don't do this already because it really does make a difference. That's all for me today. I'll catch you in the next one.